If you are someone who is interested in applying for grants, maybe you've heard about them or even dealt with any issues where you applied and you got rejected, trust me, I understand because I have been through it all. Okay. But I've been able to make hundreds of thousands of dollars to travel the world with grants. And I'm so excited because I launched yesterday an app to help anybody out who is in the process of trying to go for grants, but they feel like they don't have the strategy in order to win. So, what's up? What's up? What's up to everybody who's coming in on the live? If you are on live right now, I am live on Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube to have conversations with artists, entrepreneurs, and nonprofits, anyone who is interested. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Nice to see you all. I don't know if you're new here. If you are, my name is Queena. I am a full-time creator. I've been this way for 6 years now, and grants has been my means of being able to make that happen. Thank you, Canna Luz. Congrats on the launch. Appreciate you. 24 hours in, you know what I'm saying? So really happy about that. I have been building this app for the last 2 months, probably longer than I should have, but you know, it's definitely my heart and soul inside of it. So if you are interested in just asking me questions, learning more about the app, and just kind of dialoguing, you can always come onto my live. I'm usually live. I would say 12 p.m., but today was a little bit later because I had a meeting. But 12 p.m. EST is usually when I go live. So just checking out the chat real quick. I am from Bangladesh. Does this work for me here in Bangladesh? So the answer is yes, but I think the real question is who, and don't asterisk me when I say this, who are you and what is it that you do? That's a bigger question than where you are, because the app does have opportunities for people who are overseas, but the key thing that the app does is research for you. Research is international. That's what the whole purpose of my app, WinGrants, does. So if you have a grant, you can copy and paste the URL of the grant, you put it into WinGrants, and it does the entire analysis for you to create a strategy that you could then use to apply for that opportunity. That's the whole concept of it. Now, in terms of the like the grants in the database, I have to see if I have any for people in Bangladesh. It's certainly not my priority because majority of the people that I have is in the United States, but there are grants where you could be from anywhere in the world, right? So for everybody who's joining in, tell me what you do. Tell me what you do. What you do, why'd you decide to follow? You know what I mean? Like, what brought you here? I am curious. I am so very curious. Let me make sure I'm all set up. So if you are new here, I'm going to tell you a few things before anyone starts asking me questions, because I usually get 10 questions, so I'm going to address them early on. First question is, can I find a grant for insert whatever it is you do? The answer is always going to be yes. So if anyone inside of this room says to themselves, well, is there grants for insert whatever it is? The answer is always going to be yes. Okay? Because the answer is always yes. There is always opportunity to apply for something or to get whatever it is you need. The real question is, how do we do this? How do we think about this? Okay. So I'm actually going to, I just realized I didn't even put the link in here. WinGrant.io. 90-day. Boom. There we go. And then let me just also do it here, just in case. Just in case. Okay, so that first question, right, because it's usually the one that I get. Queena, is there a grant for? The answer is yes. The answer is always yes. And I'm going to explain why the answer is always yes, right? Because people are asking me about grants usually for one reason. They want money, okay? And I get that. I want money too. That's why I started pitching and doing grant proposals, right? Because I was like, dang, I want to make me some money too. I want to fund my business. I want to do my dreams. I have all of these goals. I want money too. So I started looking into grants as an option. Okay. Here's the thing about going for opportunities. And I say opportunities because if you are going to follow me and if you are going to go on the journey of trying to fund whatever it is you're doing, you need to open up your mind to the types of opportunities that could exist to get you to where you want to go. Right. And I say this as an example. Okay. One example is in the reason of why you want money. Right. So I have a client, or I had a client maybe a week ago, and they were a nonprofit and they were like, yo, I really want to find grants to, fund or get like operating support because I need to hire somebody. Right. I was like, so okay, cool. So you want a grant because you want to hire somebody, right? There's like, yeah, I need to go get the money. I need to get this money so I can offload this and have somebody to work with. That sounds great. Here's the thing about it. So I was like, all right, you're focused on trying to find a grant, but what if there were other things you could apply to that could solve that problem for you? It was like, wait, what? What other thing is there besides getting money? And there is an infinite set of things besides money. I know we all want money, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't go for that, but I just want to asterisk this by saying that in this scenario, we actually submitted a proposal to an internship program, right? Where it was like this internship program where you can get interns twice every semester to come into your organization and work. And then if you choose to, keep them around, you could then hire them and make that like negotiation. She was like, what? That's a whole thing? I was like, yes. Because you're focused on looking at like, okay, I want this, so I'm going to look for this. Whereas like, all right, well, what are you going to do with the money? Because whatever it is you do with it, there could also be another way for you to acquire that. Okay. That's what I mean by that. So that's what I mean in terms of expanding your idea on opportunity. The second half is in your identity. So if you are commenting in here about like, hey, I am an artist, I'm a entrepreneur, I'm a this, you have dozens of identity points that you could be using besides the ones that come directly to your mind. So sometimes I talk to somebody and they'd be like, oh, I'm a Latino filmmaker. I'm like, okay, cool. But there are other things, like there's your gender, right? Are you male, female? Because there's grants and opportunities specifically for women and specifically for men. There's also what part of the country are you in? Because there are grants specifically for people in Montana or specifically for people in the northern region of North Carolina. Things that you're not even considering as options, right? Including for anybody who is overseas. All right. When it comes to overseas, then we need to have a conversation about like, embassies and the consulates and public diplomacy programs. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to go through the chat real quick. What camera are you streaming on? I have a DJI Pocket 3. That's what I'm streaming on right now. Although I don't even know why I didn't turn on my Sony. That's what I usually use. I have a Sony Alpha 6400 and then I use a DJI Pocket 3. And this is usually what I use to make like my social media content. And sure, SMB microphone. And then I use StreamYard to channel all of this information to the folks. Do you find grants for nonprofit orgs? It's a great question. Chat, what do you say? What do you say? So like, I think I'm gonna work a little bit, probably in the next coming weeks, about like how I articulate what I do, because the answer is yes. Could I find it? Absolutely. But like, it doesn't help you or anyone else who's around that like I find things for you. What I can do is I can show you how to find it for yourself. That is what I'm really good at. If you are in this chat, you are somebody who is interested in finding opportunity. I could show you how I've been able to do that. Because if I show you how to do that, you can keep finding more opportunities. Though that means that whenever you start thinking about what it is you want to build or the dreams that you want to fund, you can figure it out regardless of whatever, blocks are put together in order to create whatever it is you want to create. Because it's like the thing about grants and the harsh truth about them is that you have to keep getting them. People will be like, oh, I want to get a grant. I'll get like, $10,000. It'll solve all my problems. You know what I mean? I'll get $5,000, it'll solve $50,000, it'll solve all my problems. The thing is that you have to keep applying for grants. The money's going to go away at some point. You know, you're going to spend it, you're going to use it, you're going to do whatever it is. And it's a constant cycle of you having to keep going for grants. And in order for that cycle to be efficient, like if you have a system that runs, you have to know how to do it. You have to know how to do it yourself. All right. Don't offload that to somebody else because you're like, oh, yo, dude, can you like bring it to me? And then I'll like look into it. Because there's much more layers to it. Okay. I help voice teachers use the magic of applied neurology for results in singing. That sounds fire. You sound smart. You're looking for research grants and biz expansion. Sounds so smart. Okay. I'm gonna pull up WinGrants while I'm live right now, and I'm actually going to find opportunities for the individuals that are here. So if you are here, tell me what it is that you do, and I'm going to be looking for grants here on live, and then putting those grants inside of WinGrants. I'm gonna run an analysis on those grants inside of WinGrants. All right. Actually, let me pull it up right now. This is WinGrants. Painter who focuses on environmental concerns. Fire. Who else do we have? We have a brass band from West Africa, Ghana. I have an entertainment career summit to support African Americans pursuing non-performing careers in entertainment. Interesting. What does that mean? What does that mean when you don't perform, but you're entertaining? Curious. give me some more on that one. I'm working at next person says, I'm working at a telesales job at nighttime. I basically do cold calls in the US. That was my first job ever, was a telemarketer, in case anybody was wondering. That was my first job ever. I was damn good at it. I get paid $170 a month. I have to attend university in the morning. I'd seriously be great if you told me, dang, I think the message ended. Oh, to guide you where? Guide you where? You know, I can be of assistance to a lot of people, and I can assist people on the journey that they're going on. But the thing about it is, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to write this out too, so that this makes sense for anybody who's joining in. I'm going to show you what my method is. We got a baker from Nigeria. All right, bet. Cool. So just letting you guys know, yesterday we launched WinGrants. WinGrants is an app that I put in all of the grants and opportunities that I find, and I mean anything. So if I'm finding grants, fellowships, residencies, scholarships, accelerators, incubators, pitch competitions, the whole nine, I'm putting it inside of WinGrants. But the best part about it is that right here, you can copy and paste opportunities. You click analyze, and it will do all of the research for you on the grant. Why is research important? Because it is going to give you a strategy on how to win. When you go to a grant directory right now, it just tells you there's a $10,000 grant. Here's the eligibility, right? But nobody actually tells you how to win. And it's not helpful for me to give you whatever grant you're looking for. If you're like, hey, you got a grant for a business? I'm like, sure, here you go. But then you look at it and you got to add a project statement, a need, an executive summary, your budget line items, and then you're looking at it like, okay, well, this is work. And I'm like, well, it is indeed. They call it free money, but like, the reason why grants are such a good option, though, not to say, because like, I don't know if I'd be like, telling people this and they'd be like, dang, well, then why would I even want to go do a grant? I think that's kind of the toss up, but that's why that money is available for people like me, because a lot of people don't want to go through the effort. But the best part about grant writing is that so many of these grants ask the same questions. So once you start writing grants and you have the knowledge to find the grants you're looking for and to write your story, you could be churning out multiple of these things because they're all asking essentially the same questions. You just have to reframe it to whoever it is you're pitching to. That's why it's so effective. You know what I mean? But in the beginning, it takes a lot of work because you have to be able to articulate your story in a way that somebody else is going to be willing to invest into it. And I think that's the hardest part for most people. Is writing their story to a point where they're saying, like, where people will like, they can understand what it is you want to do and they want to put their name and money behind it. Okay, so what else do we got? All right, they learn about these careers and connect with successful African Americans in those various fields. Helps with access and knowledge. I don't know what you mean by fields though. You're not when you say entertainment summit, you're like they learn about these careers. What careers? Because I'm curious about how they non-performing and still entertaining. If you are new inside of the Instagram live, I launched my app WinGrants yesterday, 24 hours ago. We have in the first 24 hours, there were 159 people who visited the website. There were 16 people who clicked join on the beta access, and we got 11 new users. 11 users yesterday. Oh my goodness, my whole heart. I was like, oh, I was so happy. I was like, bruh, we got users. That's crazy, bro. Like, we out here Steve Jobs in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm Suit. So if you are new here, beta access is open right now. All right. Beta access is 90 days. It is $97. That's about $1 a day. But you'll have access to all of the grants that I find and a strategy on how to win them. As an example, I'm going to pull up one of these grants here. Boom. This was an artist grant. And inside of the dashboard, it gives you the description on the opportunity and, of course, like the eligibility guidelines, who can apply, those things like that. But here is the step further. In order for you to truly set yourself up for success, you have to know who won the grant in the past. The winners of the grant are the folks who show you whether or not you qualify. Forget what the funder says. I don't care what pretty website they done put up. I don't care what the proposal said. If you find who won it, okay, if you find who won the grants, then you are going to be able to understand, like, oh, wait, hold up. I think I might actually be the person for this, right? Because these people, these are like PhD, Fulbright scholars. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, wait, hold up. Now, because a grant can say that they're accepting emerging artists, but that sounds like it could be subjective. Somebody could be, at what point are you not emerging? And then you go to look at the people who won and they done been on all the TV shows and traveled the world. And I'd be like, they wasn't really looking for new people at all. But it's just because of what they say. All right. So thank you to everybody who's saying congratulations. You know what I mean? I appreciate you because I was definitely a perfectionist throughout the entire process of making this app. But that does mean that the app currently is because yesterday I sent out an email. I did 2 social media posts and I went live for 2 hours. And the live is really what helped out when it came to getting users, because I was able to show people the product. And I get it because, like, if you're going to invest in something, I want to be able to see it too, which is why I go live, to show people what this actually looks like. All right. And then the conversion rate on the people who actually clicked beta is crazy, right? 69% of the people who clicked join beta became users, and immediately started searching the platform, and putting in whatever grants that they had. So I am super excited that happened. And I'm also, a lot of the folks, it's interesting because I get a cross between the people who are looking at the platform, because it's like, there's one group where it's like, yo, this is only $97. Right? Literally, I think the moment I put it out, I probably at least got like 3 or 4 people there. It was like, oh, wait, hold up. Nah, I'm about to do this. I had to have a conversation with the person who I was consulting with or whatever. And they was like, you really want to do that? And I was like, I really want to it's not even that I just want to get users. It's that I want to get people to win. And it's grant season now. There are so many grants now because it's the end of the fiscal year. Right. So right now, August, September, you're going to see the most deadlines for grants happens right now, literally right now, which is why I'm spending the next 30 days getting as many people on the platform as possible. And that's also why it's a 3-month beta, because getting access today means that you will have this intelligence for the entire grant season. Which means if you saying to yourself, I'm going to put out 100 applications so that I can get 10 wins, now is the time. Now is the time. Okay. So while we're doing this, I'm going to quickly tell you guys what it is that I do. Because I know a lot of folks who end up joining the live, or they follow me. Their first instinct is like, "Yo, Queena, in what ways can you help me get bread?" That's ultimately what most people are following me for, until they talk to me and then they be like, "Yo, you know what? You got a little vibe to you." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm out here aura farming." You know what I'm saying? I'm out here aura farming. But since so many people are looking for money to fund whatever it is they're doing, and what they're doing is just expansive. Like when I talk to folks, like even in this chat, we had somebody who is what the vocal thing neurologist, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then you got people who are just like trying to they're just so like I be bakers, somebody owns a summit, you know. Let me see what the what type of business do I need to build to be eligible for getting a grant. Okay, hold on, I'm about to answer that. We want to the world to experience our music, applying for showcases but don't have the necessary funds. Do you need funds to apply for showcases? What do you need money for when it comes to showcases? You just like they should be free. Yeah, whatever you're like my first time overseas, I was in Dubai. The next two times I was overseas was in Costa Rica. Both of them, not only was it free for me to apply, I was paid to do the performances. There's so many options with that. And if you want to look into traveling overseas as an artist and you are overseas, you need to go to the public diplomacy section of your US embassy. There is an entire department that handles taking artists from that country and bringing them overseas. It is called public diplomacy. Okay, so the non-career. Okay, so that the people who do the entertainment stuff, career fields like producers, cameraman, director. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, got you. Production. Okay, all right. So that's what you mean. All right, cool. That makes sense. You know, I have definitely been in the production world. Okay, and then to answer your question on what type of business do I need to build to be eligible for a grant? Okay. So, I think that there is, and this applies to the same thing I was about to show folks. And I'm going to explain to you something. Okay. I'm all out here focused. Okay. So there's three things here. Okay. Let me see if I can. Yeah. All right, cool. Here are my three things here. And these are all crucially important. Okay. The first one is context. Then we have input. Then we have outcome. Okay. Context. So you're asking me about what type of business do I need to be eligible for a grant? Here's the thing about it. Context, and this is for anybody who asks me a question. Is this backwards? Why is that backwards? I wish it wasn't backwards. Can I? Or maybe it's just backwards for me. I don't know. If it is for you, I'm so sorry. I don't even know if I can swap it. No, I don't even know if I can swap it. Either way. Okay, so context, input. No, yeah, no, I think that's fine. Okay, so context, input, and outcome. Okay. Now, the context is whatever is around the question that you're asking me. Okay. So, one, there is a grant for everything. So when you ask me, what do you need to be eligible for a grant? It's almost like you're asking me, what do I need? How can I be eligible for anything? And the reason why I say that is because there are grants that you don't need an LLC, you don't need a nonprofit, you could be just a regular person, or there are grants that require you to be a 501c3 or a fiscal sponsorship. Or the thing is like there's a different requirement for all of them, right? So that's why I say you're asking me, how am I eligible to apply for anything? And the only thing you need is the determination to figure out whatever it is you need. Step one, okay? Now, step two is I actually did this out of order because I put outcome next. And the reason why I ask for outcome, if anybody is asking me a question, right? They're like, yo, Queena, can you find me a grant? Because I'm a business owner and I want to get bread. Okay. That's how most people send me messages, which is why I ain't gonna hold you. I'm getting to the point now where I'm like, I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna communicate this to folk, right? because it's like I have no context about who you are, what you do, the kind of business you have, nothing. I got no context. I know that you have a business and you want money. Is it available? Yes. When I say outcome, I immediately ask my clients, what is it that you want? What is it that you want? You know, what is it that you want to do with the money? Because more than likely, all right, you don't want money to hold it. You don't want money because you want it inside your pocket. You want money to do a certain thing, whether it's provide a service or to complete some kind of action, to travel, to do something, right? You want to be able to do something with the money, okay? The the reason why I asked that in terms of like what outcome you want is because it may not be necessary for you to get, like $25,000 for you to do something, or like for you to go after like, $100,000 grant. Whereas like, I'm like, okay, hold up. You want money because you need space. Have you looked into residencies? Because you can then, let's say you want to get money because you want to host an event, you want to host a summit. If there is a location around you, right? Like it's a museum, they offer residency spaces, exhibition spaces. Then it's like, wait, hold up. Now you got that space that you needed for free. Boom. You solved your problem by filling out an application, but it wasn't in the way that you thought it was going to be. That's what I mean by like opportunity may look different. Okay. That's what I mean by that. It may look different. I'm so sorry it's backwards. I don't even know how to, because I think it's oh, how do I say this? It's the right way in StreamYard. I think it's something that happens with Instagram. Sucks. You know? Six. I do actually hold on one second. Let me see if this will. I think. I know I'm about to MacGyver something. I know I'm about to MacGyver something. Yeah, I know that solved it. I know that solved it. Look at me, right side up now. Yeah, I might be backwards on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram, on YouTube, but it is what it is. It is what it is. There we go. There we go. Context, input, outcome. Right? What is it that you want to get? And then input is whatever you have done so far. Input is whatever you have done so far, right? So if you want to ask me a question, if you want to say to yourself like, yo, Queena, like, is there a grant for whatever it is that I'm doing? You got to give me context, and I'm going to show you how deep context goes. You got to tell me what you've actually done before asking me this question, so I understand like what steps have already been taken, and then the outcome that you actually want to get. Okay. What is it that you want to use the money for or use it to do? All right. If you are new to this chat right now, I am live because WinGrant's access is open right now. WinGrants is an app that I created that helps you find grants and opportunities, but more importantly, shows you how to win them. It shows you how to win them. Okay. And in order for you to win a grant, you have to have strategy. You have to have some strategy in order to win a grant. So if you are new in here, let me know what you do. I'm finding grants right now as we speak, and I'm going to be putting them inside of the app. Okay. I'm going to be putting them inside of the app, and I'm also going to be talking about the process, right? I ask that if you do put inside of the chat what it is that you do, I'm going to show you why being specific is so crucial. Being specific is so crucial because there are grants and opportunities for like each grant that I have is very specific. It's not general. Grants are not generalized. Okay. They're not universal in the sense where somebody is, how do I say this? That one person who does like, oh, I have a business, I can then apply for grants. That's not the way it works. Okay. And I'll give you an example. Mike Hughley, branding. What is okay? See what I'm saying? Yes, it's Princess, cannabis. I need more. I need more. I need context. Okay. I need context and I need outcomes. Right. And I'm going to show you some examples. Right. Boom. Let's look at the Grow Getter grant. This grant is for $2,500 unrestricted cash to an early stage founder. Plus, you'll get visibility on HubSpot. Right. So this one is due in like 3 days. The award is $2,500. Let's see here. But you also get that visibility. You must have raised less than $2 million. You got to be in the United States or Canada and building a venture backable startup. Okay, so this is for startups. Okay. And then how the app works is that it'll show you the description, it'll show you the eligibility, and then it'll tell you how to stand out. Right? Write your 1-sentence business summary first, show this month, not next year, and then use their exact phrases naturally, which is included, right? So when you look at the section on WinGrants that shows you the words to use, what happens is that when we analyze the grants, we are keeping track of the words that the funders use the most, because when you learn how to speak their language, then they're going to feel like you are one of them. And that is how you get closer to success. I run a STEAM program through the educational system. So I'm in schools, daycares, summer camps, and right now I'm designing a program for teachers to provide access to others' hands-on workshops. Fire. I'm going to copy and paste that so that I can add that to my list of grants to find. Okay, hold up. Copy and paste that and add that. Be Kids Toronto. Okay. I do have I definitely do have grants from Canada on here. Find grants. Okay. And then that's Be Kids Toronto. So one, I truly appreciate you being specific. And here is how much farther specific you can get when it comes to talking about grants. I don't know your gender. So there are grants specifically for female, or male businesses in Canada. There's also ones based on like, if it is STEAM, you could be looking into something that's like technology, things like that. That's what I mean. I'm talking about identity markers in terms of who you are as a person. That alone could get you a grant to fund something that you didn't even realize was an option, And then it's also like, what are the teachers learning? Because whatever the teachers are learning could be something that could be funded, right? So I don't know what you're doing with the technology, right? Because like there is technology that helps people, with like dyslexia be able to read. You know what I mean? Branding for small businesses, fire. Community-centered arts, music, and dance events, also fire. So residencies, I would look into those kind of programs. And yeah, I'd look into residencies, fellowships. There is a ton of things that are community centered. But where you are is so important when you use the word community. So as soon as you say the word community, I'm going to be asking, have you looked in your community? Because I don't know where you're from. Again, this is what I mean by context. I don't know where you're from. So like, let's say if you're in New York City, there's going to be grants specifically for people in New York. You know what I mean? Branding for small businesses to help them achieve visibility. Fire. 14 years working with kids. This is amazing. Thank you. All right. This live is actually an asset right now. Oh, word. Fire. I appreciate you. That's all I'm trying to be. And listen, I like, for anybody who's hopping in on the live, I want you, and I know that you're new to my page because, it was up until recently that I got so many followers on social media. But I am very honest. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you about this entire process. I believe that I have the knowledge and the wisdom. Wisdom is far more important. I have the wisdom that could help people generate wealth in a way that they haven't experienced before. Because I have a gift and a skill that I have been practicing, which is learning how to spot and find opportunities. That is my gift. That is the skill that I have been working to develop, how to find opportunities. Because once you know how to find opportunities, there is no obstacle that can stop you. I don't care what it is you're trying to build. Daycare centers, painters, the community organize. I don't care what you're trying to build. If you know how to find and spot opportunity, how to like look at something and make how to look at nothing and make something, magic trick. That's a magic trick. You know what I mean? So it's like, that is, I'm very honest about this, okay? Because I believe that grants is a means for you to do that, because it's a if you're willing to like invest the time and energy, not just the thing about grants though is that you're investing the time and energy to learn how to tell your story and how to pitch yourself. That's what you're investing in. So in like honestly and truly, I didn't start learning grants. I started to learn how to market myself. Then I realized, wait, hold up. I've been marketing myself so long that I know how to write grants. Like I know how to persuade somebody to come to fund and invest a vision, because I learned how to like fund and invest in myself and to show that to other people, persuade other people. That's how you're able to do that. See what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. So is there a grant for you? Absolutely. You know, and if you are willing to go for it, I can help you find and discover opportunities. Okay. And that's before, by the way, you even pay me a dime. Whether or not you want to join the beta access, you grab my ebook, Fund Your Vision, which is also at the link in my bio. Whether you do any of that, if you even just if you go to my Instagram profile and go over to my reposts, I repost grants every single day. You could never use the app. If you saying to yourself that, okay, well, the only thing I need to do is find it, which I'm testing a theory, because I do have people who look at me like, yo, Queenie, you can't be sharing all these grants on Instagram. Like, you know, put them inside the app, let people pay for it. And I'm convinced, and I feel like the data shows, I could show people $100,000 grant that was made just for them. Right. And I'll send it to 1,000 people and I'll get 100 people to click on it. And I might get one person to apply. I might get one person. It's so true. It is so true. I'll be looking at folks. I'm like, it's a weird thing. It's a weird anomaly that happens in an entrepreneur's brain, that they believe that if they know something, they would do something. And I'm here to help. I'm here to help because I know that opportunity exists. I know it exists. I find it. That's why I'm so confident I could find grants for anybody who's in here. That's why I'm so confident. You know, I just realized too that I got a whole lot of folks who come from overseas, where it's like that's a whole new vibe for me. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try. You know what I'm saying? I believe. I started my business with $2,000 bars. I had no money. I had no money at all. I had no money at all. I started my business with hopes, prayers, and favors. See, I didn't have any money, but I had skills. I had skills. That's why I think I'm so focused on helping people acquire the skill, you know? So anybody who comes in and be like, hey, can you find me this? And I'd be like, all right, I can show you how to do it. They'd be like, I don't want to do it no more. I'm like, I don't. Yeah, because once you see the grant, then what's gonna happen? You gotta write a 3-page report. You know, you gotta prove to these people that you done did this, that, and the third. But starting a business with $2,000, that's, you know what I mean, that's no feat, you know. And you know how to package it. That's fire. Okay, so anybody joining in right now, I'm talking about WinGrants. It's the app that I built to help people find and win opportunities. And it's not just a grant database. There is a database, of course. There's 117 opportunities, about $8 million worth of funding inside of the app right now. And the real thing about this app is that it's a strategy piece. I don't just tell you about the grant. I give you every piece of information you need in order to win it. Okay? In order to win it. All right? So tell me, show me how to do it. Teach me how to. I got you. I got you. I got you. You know, hop in the live and check out the videos, because there's only so much I can do inside of the one live. You know what I'm saying? But I posted a video on my page recently about site dorks. Site dorks are awesome. That alone, that one tactic alone, because here's the thing is that when I teach people any of the strategies that I've used, I didn't even realize this was crazy. The way that I be thinking about finding opportunities. I didn't even realize it was that crazy until I told somebody, I'd be telling somebody, I'm like, yo, why don't you just use site dorks? And they're like, what? How? What? And I'm, oh, wait, hold up. Let me explain. You know what I'm saying? So if you hadn't seen the last video, there is a thing called site dorks, and site dorks allow you to search the internet. So if anyone in here is asking me, how do I find grants for blank? I'm going to show you how to find it. Okay. Site dot website keyword. Oh, wait, I probably should have did this sideways. I was like, that is not it. Hold up. Let me do this again. Site dot website and then key. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Boom. This is what it looked like. Okay. This is what it looked like. All right. So this is a site dork. This is how I'm going to show you how to find anything. And the reason why I'm going to show you how to find it is because you know yourself better than I know you. If you come on here and you're like, yo, I do filmmaking, then filmmaking is the only key that I have to work with. I don't know your age. I don't know your race. I don't know what state you're from. I don't know what country you're in. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean by like, it's hard for me to be able to help in that context because I know that grants are specific. So the first thing you're going to do is the site semicolon. That's the first thing that you type in. This is on Google, by the way. You go into Google, you type site semicolon, and then the website. Whatever website you're searching. The way that site dorks work is that you could search an entire website. So let's say you want to search Instagram. You put Instagram.com. Let's say you want to search LinkedIn. You put LinkedIn.com. Why do you search the entire website? Because people post grants on Instagram every single hour from all over the world. And if you're in Nigeria or if you're in Ghana and you search Instagram, right, on your computer, you're going to get a completely different set of results than I will. In fact, I'm probably going to get results from Philadelphia, right? And I'm going to have to go searching and looking for Ghana versus if somebody's in Australia and they search Instagram on Google, they're going to get a completely different list of results too. Cool. So try Instagram.com first to practice it. And then your key is like keywords is what I mean. So whatever it is that you are. So let's say you're, if you are a filmmaker, Black filmmaker, are you young? Because that's a whole nother category of filmmaking. Are you a documentary? Because filmmaking has multiple different genres. Are you looking for production budgets? Or are you looking for editing budgets? The reason why I say that search is because now when you go to type in those keywords and you go to search for things, go site semicolon Instagram.com and then put in young filmmaker grant, Black filmmaker opportunity. Let's say you in Nigeria, right? And you want to do a conference, right? So community engagement grant. You see what I'm saying? There's an infinite set of ways to describe who you are and what you do. And that's what you use to find opportunity. Because there are people in here who's like, yo, I run a business. I can show you a business grant, but it doesn't help if the business grant is for people in Arizona and you're in, Las Vegas. Or if, I could show you a grant. Even the grants that say that they accept anybody from anywhere, I would be weary of that. Because if you do an analysis on the people who've won in the past, it'll likely show you who they actually select. Let me read the comments because I know they're coming in. My friend Julia with Inspire Career Services could definitely use your help. I'm going to share your website with her today. Fire! I'm so excited. Please share the website. Can't see it. Oh, sorry. I'm going to look for old lady environmental painter. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not even joking that there are grants for people who are older in age. And you have to define that too, because some people will consider it like 35 plus. Some people will consider it 65 plus. Environmental, I would look into grants for environment and sustainability. I'm gonna show you a grant. It passed already, but I want to show you a grant because it already came to my head. What was it called? No. Okay, hold on. Is it gonna show up in my? There we go. Anonymous was a woman. Boom. I don't know where you live too, because where you live also matters. Because I may show you this grant, and then you're gonna be like, oh, I'm actually in Trinidad. You know what I mean? And so it's like, all right. So Anonymous was a woman environmental arts grant. And the reason why I want to show you this grant, two reasons, right? So the reason why I want to show it to you isn't because this one expired. It closed on April 7th. This was one of the ones that I hoped a few people apply to, you know? So, okay, so you're in California. I bet this is open to the this is open to the US, right? And I'm showing you this grant, even though it's passed, for two reasons. One, this is an annual opportunity. Save annual opportunities. I know that we are looking for things right here, right now, but most of these grants happen every single year, right? So I am the kind of person who's like, you have to have a tracker. Put these grants away, because then when the application opens up, you're gonna be immediately ready for it. You're already gonna know what's coming. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, and the reason why you should be looking at these grants, even if they pass, is because this thing is filled with keywords that you could use. Excuse me. You could use to be able to fund whatever it is, right? So, environmental arts projects that inspire thought, action, and ethical engagement. Okay, that's what this does. This is the this for this particular grant, right? Supporting artists who have been impacted by gender inequity is one of their core values. Open to women, transgender, and gender non-conforming artists. I didn't ask if your gender, but again, see how that matters? This is why okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. I realize I'm not showing. My bad. My bad. I got you. So, this is Anonymous was a woman arts grant, okay? So, this is why specificity matters. You need to be a woman, you need to be an artist, you need to be interested in environmental, and you need to be in the United States. Do you see how specific that is? And I see grants every day, okay? I see grants every single day. And because I see them every day, I am aware that I'm like, wow, the level of specificity on these grants is insane. So inside of my the link in my bio is an identity map. If you haven't done your identity map, please check it out. So if you go to the link in my bio, I have something that says create identity map. And it is a list of questions that you should be writing in to fill out things about yourself, right? And it's going to blow your mind when you're like, wait, hold up. Like, I can get grants for being a veteran or being disabled or being left-handed or being from a rural community versus being from a suburban community. As an example, I'm going to show you another one. Let's go into WinGrants, and I'm going to show you, let's get, boom. This one is for filmmakers. The grant that I'm showing right now is for filmmakers. Tell a story. It provides money for the artists, right? You have to be a photographer, a filmmaker based in Nigeria at any stage of your career and create original work interpreting the theme of renewal through visual storytelling. So in terms of this particular opportunity, if you are a filmmaker, you have to be from a certain area, right? And you also have to create a piece of work that interprets their specific theme. The reason why this matters is because like most people would be like, okay, well, I want to get this money to fund a movie. It is easier. Again, here's my truth, my reality to all you out there. It is easier for you to find opportunities and shape what it is you do into it than it is for you to find an opportunity specifically to address whatever it is you want to do. I really wish it wasn't the case. I really wish that like I could be like, you know what? I want to I had somebody come in my live yesterday who wanted to be a chocolatier. I thought that was so fire. I don't know if they were in academics or something. They was like, I want to be a chocolatier. and I want to open a, chocolate shop in the local mall. I really wish that there was someone out there who's sitting at this like table and they're just like, you know what? I can't, I just cannot wait to find myself an academic who wants to just enjoy some milk chocolate. I really wish. But the scenario is that it's easier for you to find. It is easier for you to find opportunities and mold yourself to it than it is for you to find things molded specifically to you. And that's just that's a good thing though, because opportunity is just as unique as whatever it is you want to build. Anybody who's dropping whatever it is they want to build inside of this chat right now, it is as unique as you are. That's, what I'm saying? It is as unique as you are. All right. So I'm going to look at the chat. A nonprofit. Okay. Yeah. I feel like you sent this message in there. So I'm going to address this. For anybody who is new coming in here, I just released my app called WinGrant. It's a database of grants that shows you how to win each opportunity. If you want to check it out, just click the link right here on the chat in order for you to join. So let's go. If it doesn't exist, create it. Exactly. That is my mantra. That is my mantra. That is why when somebody asks me, is there a grant for? Yes. Why do I say yes? Because if it doesn't exist, create it. Create it. And people will look at me like I have 12 heads. And that's why I say the skill of learning how to create opportunity is going to help you so much more in your life than anything else. So nonprofit who is in Ghana, we love to give kids underprivileged and orphans music training, especially on music theory and brass instruments in Ghana. Fire. Do you have a website? Do you have a website? And if so, drop it in there, Poke it, what up? How are you? You want to know what's crazy? So everybody in the chat, all right, somebody just who messaged in here, right? Poke it runs a dev agency in India, right? Runs a dev agency in India. And what was it, 2021 we worked together? I think it was 2021 we worked together. This is so crazy. So crazy. Poke it, I need you to stick around for a second, okay? In 2021, we worked together on an app, on a website called joincreativity.com, right? And it worked so hard to develop this website, right? And what's crazy is that Join Creativity, we created it. It was, functioning, all that kind of stuff. But I just stopped the project. Literally yesterday, Poke it, I launched my app called WinGrants. That is the exact same thing as Join Creativity, but now it's mature. The exact same thing. This is literally the same thing. It is a database of opportunities. And we built it on Webflow. We built it on Webflow before, but now I built this with Claude. I built this entirely with Claude. So that's so crazy. This was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I created an app that a website that did the same exact thing, but it wasn't mature. It didn't have the resources, all those kind of things like that. And I made it for a pitch competition that I wanted to enter, and it didn't work out for me. It didn't work out for me at the time, but shout out to Pocket, because it just so crazy. Yesterday I launched it. So literally the same exact thing. I be telling folks that I'm like, yeah, wait, what? I was like, I made this app 5 years ago. It didn't work, right? It didn't work then, but I came back with the idea. When now that technology had advanced to the means that I could do this myself. Oh my goodness. It was over with. It was over with. Okay, so you don't have a website yet. Is Amu Satchmo and the Gigi Brass official the same person? You need a website. You need a website for sure. Anybody who's coming in here who's like, yo, I want to go for grants. I want to go for, any opportunities, whatever the case may be. You need to look like somebody who is prepared to get the investment that you're asking for. That is the correlation. That is the correlation. If you are saying to yourself, yo, I want to make whatever amount of money you want to get from somebody, you need to look like you've already spent it. That's the toss up. Can I share the ICS website with you? Yes. Share it. Drop it inside the chat. Julia's work is impactful and I want to help her get grants. Yes. Drop it in the chat. And then also this replay is going to go on my YouTube channel. So if you want to send it to Julia and then tell her to drag over to 1 hour and then she can know what I was talking to about, everything I was saying about it. All right, you're the same person, you need a website. Okay. You need, and it's not even like there's a level of like having a website. There's also a level to having so let me show you my organizations. So it's crazy because I teach people how to win grants at this point, but I'm an artist. Okay, this is how I started. I'm an artist. Okay, and my arts is poetry. Okay, my craft is poetry, one of the poorest of art forms. And it's like there aren't a ton of poetry grants. That's why I had to get good at finding opportunity, because I couldn't find a bunch of grants for poets, but I was able to find grants for literary arts. I was able to find grants for me being a Black entrepreneur. I was able to find grants for cultural diplomacy. So I was able to travel. I was able to find residencies for performance artists. So instead of me like pitching myself as like a writer, I was a performance poet. You see what I'm saying? It's because knowing how to like use the right words, the keywords and things like that is what is essential. Anybody like, yo, how do we do this? How do we figure it out? You know what I mean? So I'm gonna pull up the website so that you can so that we can all see it. All right. First off, I'm gonna show you my website. All right. So this is queenofbergen.com. Share this tab. Boom, and then boom. All right, so this is my website. All right, now I'm competing for the World Championships of Public Speaking. So this website is for any of the people who are coming in looking to book me for speaking engagements. I teach people about opportunity, how to win, how to follow their dreams, and how to take an unconventional path. I am the poet who refused to play it safe. All right. I dropped out of college. I started working a bunch of jobs, and it took me 13 years before I was able to become a full-time artist. And I was able to become a full-time artist because I won a grant for $100,000 that paid me to quit my job and follow my dreams. And I have been doing, I have been pitching for opportunities ever since. I won that grant and I said, what? All it takes for me is a bit of convincing and I could get into all of these things? Absolutely. I started to apply myself. Do I offer consulting? Yes, I have one-on-one consulting. It is at the link in my bio. All right, cool beans. So this is my website, and I also have like, people things for people to donate, all that kind of stuff. I have all of my videos, right? So documentation of the work that I've done is here as well, right? And this is the video for the day job, the dream job. And then they can also contact me and then visit any of my social links. Does this website look like something, right? So if somebody was to come here, they'd be like, yo, if I'm asking somebody for $50,000, I hope that when they see this, they'd be like, you know what? If I give this person the money, I know that they would do well with it. I can see that they could do something, because I made this website. Maybe it cost me $50, and it was because Manus was acting crazy. It was eating up my credits. I made this with AI, especially with AI nowadays. I made this maybe $50. You really could have did this with Lovable, you know what I mean, for 25 or something like that. A simple website. But then having something like this and being able to look at somebody and be like, yo, this is how much you're gonna fund. They're going to fund you for it. All right. I also have a nonprofit. Okay. My nonprofit has a completely different website. This is my nonprofit. Okay. My nonprofit is called Verse Rising, where I teach poetry, public speaking, and performance arts overseas. So I travel the world and I teach students how to tell their stories. Now, I pitch this program in a variety of ways. I pitched it as a literary arts program. I've pitched it as a mental health awareness program. I've pitched this as a English as second language program if I was overseas. I've pitched it in so many different ways. And it's because once you learn how to tell your story, there is no there is no combination of things that you can't figure out. Okay? So this is and mind you, another thing is documentation. Whatever it is you're doing, document it, right? I'm not gonna this, but this is a video
these materials
that we created in the residency for the program was in Costa Rica,
and it feels incredible.
right?
That I've been designing and creating. I finally get to see them in person, and we're prepping all of these materials for the first day of class. Today is the first day of First Rise in Costa Rica, and it feels incredible.
It just warms my heart even looking back at this. This is so crazy. But last year I ran a international arts program completely funded by grants, by the way, completely funded. This was this program was $120,000 and it was funded by the federal government. This was funded by the US federal government. All right? If you know who the president is, getting money to do arts programs is is work. You know what I'm saying? It was work, but it was well worth it. And I took 4 artists from the tri-state area. We went to Costa Rica for 7 days and we ran poetry workshops. And then we had a final performance at the local theater where we brought the US Embassy, and it was fantastic. It warmed my whole heart. So through grants, right? And this is context because just in the last like few minutes I've just described it. I was able to quit my job with the first grant that I ever got. I was able to use grants in order to travel overseas, right? When I went to Dubai for the World Expo, and performance opportunities, because when I performed at the World Expo, I had to apply for it. I had to pitch for it, right? And then I also used grants to fund my business. Like I got a grant to pay for my LLC. The LLC that I use right now for my business, I didn't pay for it. I found a grant and then I pitched the business as that, you know? And then I was also able to use it for my nonprofit, right? Where I could teach arts overseas. And now it's gotten to the point where I'm like, I'm doing so much more of the helping other artists and helping other entrepreneurs figure this out. And I look forward to seeing what happens next. Okay, cool. So everybody who is joining into the chat right now, I launched WinGrants, right? My app that is a grant database of opportunities, but not only is it a database, I show you how to win them. That is the key, all right? So I'm going to go to the ICS Inspired Career Services website. Is this a disclaimer? Oh, okay, hold on. I'm not gonna become a excuse me. I have a design background, so I was like, put this at the bottom of the page. Okay, connecting people, businesses, and communities, who we are. I'm lifting inspire individuals from within our community. Okay, what we do: employment readiness assistance, resume and career cover letter, fire, ticket to work eligibility. Nothing to book here at the moment. Okay. About awesome. 15 years of experience. Shout out to you, Julia. Doing good things. This website definitely needs an upgrade. Website needs an upgrade. So holla at me if you want to talk about that. I actually know somebody who does really, really great work. So, because I'm not really making websites and stuff like that. But awesome. You know what it is too? I'd love to see because all of these are stock images. But I'm not going to go too far in the website because let's talk about actual getting grants. Okay, so when it comes to this, the first things that I'm thinking about, all right, and I'm going to show you how I'm thinking about opportunity. One is that Julia, I'm going to assume, is BIPOC. All right, not just black. You know, we got to look at BIPOC because that's a keyword that's showing up a lot right now. Okay. I would go for workforce development. All right. That one's coming up in my head as well. What else we got? Wait, what are the services? Interviewing skills, client advocacy. Ooh, what ages does she work with? Because it makes a difference whether you are like the age and the demographic. And this is why I say that, because let's say if you were doing career and readiness services for people who are in reentry, right? If they're coming out of like correction services and things like that, or if you're doing employment services for youth, you know what I mean? Juveniles, you know what I mean? That's a different situation. Interviewing skills for what particular kind of job, because interviewing for a job in tech is very different than interviewing for a job in retail. Vocational rehabilitation participants. You see what I'm saying? As I was like, okay, so vocational rehab. So I went to a VOTEC, but I don't know if it was. I don't think it was a rehab. I don't know what that part means. I don't know if they're like disability. Maybe that's what it means. Because if it's disability, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother identity marker that I would use. All right. And then they have to be 18 plus. Okay. So they have to be an adult. 18 plus. Okay. So, and then location, right? Where are we at? Where are we at? Where is this person at? Where are you located? Las Vegas. Okay. So Clark County. All right. So let's just off rip try to figure out. Let's see if we can find something for vocational services in Clark County that works out. Okay. Um, there's a few different avenues we can go, right? We can go for entrepreneurial grants for BIPOC. We can go for workforce development grants. That's likely going to be through the county and through the state. We could also look at grants for disability, which I'm assuming is what the rehab means. So then we can look at it that way. If you are joining in right now, drop into the chat what it is you do and what it is you want to build right now. I am looking for grants and opportunities for folks right here on screen. Okay, so let's do the site. Let's go site, Instagram, Clark County grants. Let's just start off there. Okay. Now, once we see a grant, like once we do the search, I don't know why it does that, where it looks like, okay, once we do the search, we're gonna make sure that this is relevant. Okay, this already looks like something I want to click on. This was 7 weeks ago. Okay, so we have to choose ones that are relevant. Okay, and like you see 3 weeks ago and things like that to help go solar. Hold up, let's move that over to the side because I want to look at that. Okay, so then we're gonna change it to past week. Boom. All right, cool. Now let's see what we have here. We're gonna go Golden Valley, proud to announce. No, this looks like a residential product, building affordable housing. Oh wait, hold up. What is this one? What is this one? There's a foundation. Oh, they don't have the website. Oh wait, huh? Visit foundation website. Excuse me. Okay. All right, now I'm gonna come off of this one. I'm gonna go back to. Yes, bird. My baby bird's there. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Huge thank you. Okay, so we're not gonna go that way. All right, so instead, let's go workforce. Let's go workforce grants. Okay, so this one is no, let's make sure it's okay, yeah, because I don't want to start clicking things. Inform USA grant program now accepting. I also think there's government grants definitely for workforce. Is this one of them? And then also how much you need is crucial too. This one is grant info. They don't even explain what the grant does. Hold up. So boom, I just found this grant open to current Inform USA members. I don't know what this is, but it's a $5,000 grant. Designed to support organizations and professionals within community navigation sector by offering grants to further their growth, education, and innovative projects. Community navigation sector. Do you see what I mean by these words? I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Who does that? What does that mean? What is community navigation sector? Because that sounds like something I would probably put toward like that. I feel like that could be workforce. Do they have a definition?
When life changes course.
No. Organizations dedicated to guiding you through life's challenges. Boom. That sounds like just like that. Guiding you through life's challenges. Getting the job is certainly a challenge. I would look at this place. You know what I mean? I would look at this place. I'm saving this because I'm gonna add this to the database. Okay. All right. Who else we got here? She's not a nonprofit yet, though. I'm trying to help her become a nonprofit. I wouldn't say necessary. If she's not a nonprofit, then becoming a nonprofit is something you could do within an hour or two. That's if you're talking about a 501c3. I wouldn't even go through that process. What I would say is that go and not to say I'm not telling you not to go through the process. What I would say is get the nonprofit, right? You could do that in a day, the same way you can start an LLC in a few minutes. And then if you go through the process of becoming a nonprofit, that's an option, as in like 501c3, or you can get a fiscal sponsorship. Again, you could do, but you can start a nonprofit and get a fiscal sponsorship in one day. Right. And then it's like, would that help her chances of getting a grant? It depends on the grant. Because if a grant requires you to have a 501c3 or a fiscal sponsorship, then yes, it would help. But if it doesn't, then it wouldn't mean anything. Right? Because I don't have a 501c3 or a fiscal sponsorship. And I was able to fund my nonprofit. I've been able to fund myself as an individual. I didn't, anything that I've won, I didn't need any of those credentials to do it. But it depends on whatever the opportunity is, because every single one is different. They're all different. They're not the same. Okay. Let me just read the chat real quick. Yo, man, I will be connecting for grants available to my business right now. I just want to say congratulations to you all. Your compliment. Oh, thank you very much. And shout out to everybody who's out here being an entrepreneur, who's hustling, because it ain't easy. It ain't easy, and we all trying to figure out a way to make it work. Someone in the chat, you fix credit profiles for individuals and businesses to give them a solid foundation to financial opportunities. Fire. How do you do that? Because the moment you say fix credit profiles, I think about financial services. Or I think about financial services. I think about financial literacy grants. Also, what age? Because if you had a program that teaches, 10-year-olds, you could be going for a different opportunity, a different grant than you would something else. Or let's say you wanted to write a book, right? Like a credit profile book or something like that. And then it's like, now you could be going for grants that you could use for the book. You see what I'm saying? Or workshops or things like that. So that's what I mean. Okay. Julia should be proud to have a friend like you. Yeah, she should be. You out here helping. You're like, yo, I'm not even here for me. It's all about Julia. You know what I'm saying? It's all about Julia. Never heard of a fiscal sponsorship. Oh, okay. So if anyone in the chat has not heard of a fiscal sponsorship, what it is that there are, if the organizations that have a 501c3 could become a fiscal sponsor, which means that they could accept your organization as a project under their organization. And they don't actually run your nonprofit at all. The only thing they do is that they accept grant funds on your behalf. The way that fiscal sponsorships work is that they will accept some administration fee in order for you to do the grant. That's what makes them what there is. That's why a lot of people will go that route if they don't want to build out a board and go through the process and things like that, because you could apply for grants through the organization that has the 501c3 and then pay them a percentage for handling all of the paperwork, which is helpful to a lot of people because you don't have to worry about the taxes on it. You don't have to worry about any of like the documentation. Like they handle that part in exchange for a percentage of whatever the grant is. That's what a fiscal sponsorship is. And there's a lot of organizations that will just do that. Okay, so you go by disputing the inaccuracy. Oh, like in their credit profiles. That makes sense. That makes sense. But like, that's what I mean. Like, it's like but how you do it is important. Like, are you making content on social media? Are you, do you want to make an app? Because if you made an app that, did it automatically, you could be going for pitch competitions or incubator program. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, an incubator program. I'm putting my words together like crazy. Anybody who is new to the chat right now, first of all, my name is Queena. I teach people how to find and win more opportunities, right? A lot of people know me for grants, but I've won residencies, proposals, jobs, things all over the world. And I realized that finding opportunity is a skill, and it's a skill that if you learn it, then any obstacle that comes, it won't stop you. Once you learn how to find opportunity, nothing can stop you. Nothing. Nothing can stop you. I always find it interesting when people send me voice notes. I'll be like, bro, you want me to listen to it? You want me to listen to it? That's crazy. Okay. Crazy business. All right. Cool. Let's get back into searching for grants because I need to add some grants here. Okay. That sounds very convenient, actually. What would be the cons of doing a fiscal sponsorship? Fantastic question. Cons of doing a fiscal sponsorship. Well, one is that there are some, because the grant requirements for different grants are different. There are some that you have to have a 501c3 to apply. Some of them will accept a fiscal sponsorship. So I guess in some ways, a 501c3 is recognizable. That's what it is. Whenever you're a nonprofit and you're going for a grant, a 501c3 is recognizable. So it's like, once you have that, you can apply for anything that has to do with a nonprofit, right? A fiscal sponsorship, however, like a lot of opportunities will take it, but then that's also the con that they may not. The other thing is that depending on the organization, it's good to have a good rapport with who they are, because you got to consider, like, these are the people who are going to get the grant money. So it's like, if you apply for a grant and you win like 50 grand or something, they get the money and then they take their percentage and then they give you that money. Fiscal sponsorships are very common, right? And they operate usually above board. But I just want to say that because there'll be people who will be like, wait, what? That I don't just got to get, like, they get the money and then it's filtered through you. All right. So that's what I mean by that. Did you just make a website? Did you just make a website? Hold up. This is so inspiring. I'm ready to get to work. Fire. What you should do, you know what I'm saying, is get beta access to WinGrants, because I put my brain inside of this app. Did you have the website? Did you just make this? I thought you said you ain't had a website. What up, coffee time? You know what I mean? Beta access for WinGrants is open right now. If you are looking for opportunities, please click the link. Okay, beta access is only going to be open until August 31st. After that, it closes for the deal that it is right now. The reason why it is $97 for the next 90 days is because it is grant season right now. Right now is grant season. The number one time for grant deadlines is the month of September and October. All right, which means if you lock in now, every single opportunity that you see, every single pitch competition, residency program, or grant, you are going to have a strategy on how to win it. All right. That's how it is. We just hosted our maiden concert, Feel the Brass, and currently working on our debut EP, Fire. Okay, that's fair, because they're doing the service on your behalf. Yes, that's what makes it. That's the caveat. All right. So shout out to the folks who follow me, man. I tell you, man, hustlers. Y'all some hustlers. I love to see it. I be seeing the content y'all be making. I be like, God, look at this. Look at this. Y'all really be out here doing it. Y'all really be out here doing it. I'm be so proud, man. Okay, let me see. Bringing music to life. 20 years of excellence. Fire. Okay, you know what? You know what I want you to apply for? I don't even know if applications are open right now. Y'all at the World Expo. You should be applying for the World Expo. You in Ghana, right? Yo, you gotta apply for the World Expo. It's happening in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, I think it is, and it's happening next year. Hold up, let me see. No, it's in Serbia. Okay, I got the things confused. All right, boom, and Ghana is there. I don't know if you know about this, right? But the World Expo was the first time I was ever to perform. I was able to perform overseas. And this looks like the kind of organization that would certainly show up. Okay, so and Ghana's participating. Ghana's participating in the World Expo. I don't know if you ever heard of the World Expo before, but I'm about to show you. The World Expo is the World's Fair. It happens every few years or so, but it is a city that they build inside of a country, and then all the countries in the world come there and they build buildings and they showcase the arts and culture of that particular country. Right. So let's say you're in Ghana, like you have the brass, all this kind of stuff or whatever. They showcase the arts, the science, the innovation of a country at the World's Expo. That is the purpose of it. So when I went to the World's Expo, I was one of the 84 people who represented the United States in arts and culture. And I was performing at the World's Expo doing poetry. Okay. So I'm going to show you, let's look at Ghana. Ghana, all right, is the birthplace of the famous kente cloth, African drumming traditions, and home to globally renowned artists and athletes. One of the most prominent Ghanaians was Kofi Annan. Correct me, sorry if I got that wrong. Who left the lasting mark on global diplomacy. So Ghana is going to be there. It was in Osaka last year, exactly. I applied to Osaka, but I didn't get it. I didn't get it, unfortunately. You know what I mean? But I'm applying to Serbia. You know what I'm saying? And this is more, I guarantee you the person who is in charge of this in Ghana is the public diplomacy, your PD department at the embassy. Right here. This is the people who you need to talk to. The public diplomacy section at the U.S. Embassy of Ghana. They're the people who are involved in that. Okay. They also, by the way, the PD section has grants. Public diplomacy was how I funded my arts program. Going overseas, the whole nine, guarantee that there's something there. So that is what I would recommend. But this is a beautiful website. It looks like, dang, this is like, matter of fact, hold on, let me just see. Let me see what you got. If you've never been to a dominoes game, you don't realize how real this is. How really real this is. It can get dicey. No pun intended. I don't know if y'all can hear this. I might have to make sure. What? Yo, y'all got it. Asunde. I was like, oh snap, y'all got it. That's fire. That's fire. What? Deep passion for training and performance, brass band has grown into one of Ghana's most respected contemporary brass ensembles and continues to redefine. Oh, that is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. You got to get connected with the PD. You know, I'm over here vibing hard too. I was like, oh, Asunde. Yo, that's how I be looking at folks. I was like, yo, the talent. The talent, that was a vibe. And then not only have you been doing this for as long as you have, you know what I mean, but there's also the fact that you're creating music videos, you know what I mean, you're creating other pieces of media, you know, and that is so helpful. Let me make sure I follow you. I'm gonna make sure that I follow this page. Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure follow you back. Yeah, nah, fire. Yeah, y'all on YouTube, y'all look like y'all can. This is what I'm talking about. I'm like, okay, bet we can get behind this. Documentation, the beautiful quality of information. The website is set up. It's there for multiple angles. When somebody comes to look at this project, they can say this person is ready for funding. This person is ready for funding. And the reason why somebody can look at that and say this person is ready for funding is because they know that with or without them, they are going to do what needs to be done. You know, with or without them. It did, you know what I'm saying? Oh, y'all done already traveled overseas. Oh, yeah, that's fire. What else? Who else we got in here? Lord, that is so awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna look for something just on that front. Hold up. Because we got, let me see if I can find any music opportunities. Oh, wait, hold up. What about Club Nothing? Does that one work? Okay, hold up. So I'm gonna show you, because let me see if Club Nothing works. Okay, so Must Plus headphones and Nothing phone, co-branded merchandise, and it is open to individuals and collectives worldwide who want to create club nights, independent event series, music festivals, or experiential nightlife events that are creative, community rooted, and aligned with Nothing's brand values. This might work for you. All right. This is also open for any artist, by the way. Any artist anywhere in the world. I don't know what Nothing's brand values are. We should probably definitely have those. Rebellion against the status quo. Rebellion against the status quo, life without distractions, different by design, co-created with community. I feel like this really might be it. So let's say, right? So here's an opportunity right here, right? You could be from anywhere in the world and apply for this opportunity. If you are an artist and you are interested in creating an event, a festival, doing something in nightlife, even you say you're working on an EP. So the event needs to happen between September and December. When are you going to finish the EP? Because let's say you look at this grant and you say, okay, I'm going to use this grant to fund the release party. Right? It's a $10,000 grant. You could use that to fund the release party. That's what I mean. So let's look at it real quick. So, this is a brand partnership disguised as a grant. 100% of the $10,000 must be spent on a single event, right? So you need to make sure that you are putting this on a single event. They get access to the event photos and the video and the promo materials. Performers must use Nothing supplied headphones. I don't know what kind of headphones you use. Only 4 grants exist worldwide. Okay. And this is open until the 9th. You have 5 more days to apply. It tells you who the judges are, right? Working DJs, a day's editor, and an A&R. All right, cool. All right, let's see. All right, this is the first time it's ever been done. So nobody has won in the past. Okay, so based on the brand's own produced events and official criteria, the applicant most likely to win this grant appears to be someone with a foot already inside a specific music scene, all right, or subculture, the operational experience to produce a real event on a defined budget, and a concept so tied to a particular community and a place that it could not be transplanted anywhere else without losing its meaning. What? What? If y'all brass band don't hit the button, what? If y'all brass band don't hit the button on this one, this is called Club Nothing. Matter of fact, I'm gonna post I'm gonna probably do a video on this grant and put it on my website. Put it on my Instagram. I'll post a reel for it. Cool. And then inside of here, I'll also show you how to stand out for your application. Name your scene in the opening line. So open your event description with a single sentence that names the exact subculture, sound, and community that your event serves. Treat your venue as a creative argument. Name the specific venue in your application and explain in 2 sentences why this space carries meaning for the community that you serve. And then show a line item budget with real numbers. Something where you could show that the actual cost of what it would be to produce an event in that specific city. And Accra, Ghana, and the thing is, like, so here's the thing about it, right? When you are going to pitch yourself for an opportunity, you have to think about it like this. Whoever it is that you're asking for the money and the resources and all that kind of stuff, whoever it is that you're getting that from, you got to think like them, not like you. Whatever it is you're building, I don't care if it's your business, I don't care if it's your art form, whatever it is that you are doing, you have to think like them. So for them, they want to fund a project that they could be proud of, that they can share with their other investors, that promotes what they like and what they do. You know what I mean? Like, there are some people, it doesn't matter how great I am, they're not going to fund me because I'm not the person that they're going to look for. So when I look at something like this, when I look at the nothing example, I'm saying to myself, I'm like, all right, Ghana, think about the fact that Ghana is a music central. There's levels to where it's like you could be pitching this where you think to yourself, this is a brand coming here. So it's like the reason why nothing would be excellent to host an event in Ghana is because it has become a cultural capital gathering place for people all around the world. And now a brand like Nothing could say to themselves, like, you know, why would I go to Ghana? It's like, well, you know what? We should definitely host an event in Ghana, right? Because didn't Chance the Rapper, he did his the Black Star. He had a whole festival in Ghana because there's infrastructure there. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying all this to say is that when you have to think about what they're thinking about and what their interests are, and you include that. And when you do that, you're setting yourself up for success. Because now they're they're like, yo, wait, hold up. You know, that brass band over there, they like, we could get up into Ghana and they already got 25 years of experience. Have you seen them? They know what they're doing. They can handle the budget. Matter of fact, they wrote the whole budget. They have a location. They have a venue. All Club Nothing has to do is hand you $10,000 for it. You know, you just hand them. They just gonna look at you and be like, "Yo, here's the bread," because they know that if they give it to you, then it is not about charity, especially when it comes from a brand. All right. When you have a brand that's giving you money, it's not about charity. It is about their marketing. That's why they want the photos and the videos so they can market it and tell the world that they did something good. And the fact that it's happening in a country like Ghana, right? A country that is known for its like arts and culture. They're a brand of arts and culture. I'm convincing myself at this point. I might have to be Ghanaian, you know what I'm saying, and apply myself. But any artist out there who's currently in the chat, Club Nothing right now has an opportunity. $10,000 for any artist who wants to create a music event anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. And I could send you the grant link. right? Of course, I could send you the grant link, but is it helpful if I just send you the link? Or is it the simple fact that like having this database that shows you exactly how to win it? And that's for every single one inside of the database. And it'll show you exactly what you could use the money for. All right. Listen, I have been live for an hour and a half. To every single one of you who have hopped in, I thank you and I appreciate you so much. Okay? I appreciate you so much. If you are coming in here fresh, WinGrant is live right now. All right. WinGrant is an app that I created to help people find and win opportunities. Okay. If you are somebody who is interested in funding your business, in growing your arts practice, in getting money for college, right? There are so many different opportunities that happen once you apply yourself. Once you learn how to find opportunity, the world opens up for you, And I'm so excited to see what people create, right? So beta access is open right now. It's only going to be open for the next, I believe it's only like the 31st. August 31st is when beta access closed, and the cost for my website is going to likely be $97 a month, because by the end of the month, this database will reach well over $50 million. Okay. And then anybody who is inside of the beta, my complete and total focus is making sure that you apply to as many opportunities as possible, because once you start winning, that is how you are going to, that's how you're able to keep winning. Okay. And real quick, I'm just going to do a promo because I'm going to chop this up as well. All right. So if you are somebody looking to find and win grants, I made a website that is going to completely change the way that you do that. This is WinGrants. It quite obviously helps you win opportunities. It is a database of all of the grants that I find. But more importantly, when you click on the profiles, it gives you a strategy on how to win the grant. You'll know exactly who has won in the past and what set them apart from everybody else who applied. You'll learn the words that you should use in your application and the things that funders believe is going to make them scared to say yes. This is the difference between winning and losing. It is strategy. So comment the word win if you want to get access to WinGrants. It is open right now for a limited time only, because there is opportunity out there. You just have to know how to find it. Okay. Sweet. So when you see that on my own thing, yes, area. Yes. Hop in, hop in and join the kid. Right. I made this with my brain, my whole brain. I don't know anybody. Like I genuinely don't know somebody who cares as much about winning as I do. I'm competitive. I am competitive. I am competing right now for the world championships of public speaking. That's the level of competition I operate at. Okay. In 2 weeks, I'll be in Vancouver. In 2 weeks, I will be in Vancouver, British Columbia, competing to be the best speaker in the world. Right? Because that's the level of competition I want to operate at. And it's also because I know that I have a voice and the ability to create the life that I want to live. So I appreciate every single one of you for hopping into this live video. If you want to rewatch, you can go over to my YouTube. For anybody who's watching on the replay, you could just click the link in the description and go to wingrants.io to sign up for beta access. I cannot wait to see what you get funded. All right. Peace, everybody.